I know that I was scared of sales. I was more comfortable being in sales management and leadership than I was in a selling role. And then as an entrepreneur, I've learned, guess what? I'm in a leadership and a selling role. So my mission in life is to help more people feel confident on the job of sales, whether that's as a seller or on individual calls as a sales manager or a sales leader. And that's what gets me up in the morning is driving that confidence. And
Awesome.
we do that at Factor 8 for everybody, but Girls Club is all about doing it just for women. Our mission is to help more women earn sales leadership positions. So we're already working with the women who are brave enough to get into sales and helping them take the next step in their career.
That's awesome. And that's so important. So your first sales job, what'd you sell, Lauren?
Ooh. My first real, we all have those pretend jobs when we're younger,
Yep.
right? I did retail. That was probably my first real job. I was 16 years old. I was selling fashion at the Limited, isn't even in your stores anymore. And I was really proud of that because I was the #1 salesperson in the Midwest region within 6 months. I loved it, retail, but it's easier, right? Because people come to you and it's easier. It's like an inbound lead,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it hard for so many people that especially even come from retail to get into that proactive job of I'm going to call and bother you. Like I'm going to call you at home and sell you clothes. Now, I mean, obviously we're talking business to business, but yeah, that was my first real sales job. And then I would say my first big girl job when I was out of college, you'll love this. I sold corporate training for a company.
Sold corporate training.
Like, how did I wind up in this job now, selling corporate training to companies? And I would go in and what I loved was learning what they were dealing with, like what was the struggle, and then helping customize the right solution. And I saw really early that I wanted to actually be on the other side of that. Like I loved solutioning it, and what I want to do was deliver it. And of course, that's where I wound up today.
Yeah.
And then my first inside sales management job, I was 24 years old. So again, 5 or 6 years ago. And I led a team of reps. I had 15 reps on my team, all older than me. And we were in the technology reseller space, a CDW competitor named Insight. And oh my God, Phil, I was out way over my skis.
We worked with Insight.
There was no reason I should have gotten that job.
Awesome. That's so funny. Yeah, we worked with Insight. That's so funny. I'm trying to think who our guy was. If I remember, I'll have to tell you sometime.
Yeah. We all know each other.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so funny. So, yeah, cool. So what was different 20 years ago about sales than now? Anything?
God, so much. Yeah, so much. I think the biggest difference is technology.
Yeah.
Right. Now the average salesperson has 6.4 tools at their disposal. The average lifespan of a sales rep was 3 or 4 years. Now it's less than 1.5 years. The average experience going into the job was also about double. So there's been quite a few trends happening all at once, right? There's fewer, we're sort of scraping the bottom of the barrel. The unemployment's at an all-time low. About 80% of people who graduate college wind up in some sort of a sales job, even if they didn't mean to, right? I think we can all remember what that was like. But people are coming to companies with less experience and higher demands, right? The buyer's journey has changed in those 20 years. People used to rely on salespeople to educate them about the market. Now we look it up and we come into the sales process having already learned somewhere between 60 and 80%. So customer demand's up, rep experience down, technology up. And it's kind of a confluence of a lot of trends at once, which makes it, frankly, the end result is it's harder to sell. We pick up our phone less often because we don't want to be sold to. We want to do it on our own. And frankly, because half the kids these days don't even have voicemails set up. Yeah. We hide behind technology. We don't talk to people as much anymore.
Wow.
So sales has gotten nothing but harder.
So hold on. So let's back that up. So 6.4 in the tech stack. So let's call that 7, right? So we got a CRM. We've got a Salesforce. We've got email. We've got probably some prospecting tool. Mm-hmm. That's 3. Maybe we have a video tool. That's 4. What else we got?
We might have a video tool. We might have a dialer of some sort.
Oh yeah, okay.
We may have call recording tool of some sort. We likely have a gamification tool of some sort, a data source or resource of some sort. There's a lot of things that bolt into our CRMs these days, right? I mean, you think about what you've got on site at Vector and all the different tools that just bolt into Salesforce and easily get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's crazy. And to think, to your point, right, we expect that they're going to hit the ground running, often with no training, or with a day of training, right? Go sit with John.
Which is orientation.
Right. Half a day of HR stuff, and then go sit with John, and then day 2, good luck prospecting, and they're all cold. Good luck.
Yeah, and is it any wonder that people are burning out faster and faster? And what breaks my heart about that is that we're teaching them to not love sales, right? They get into it, and we're kind of throwing them on the fire like logs. And they get into it and they hate it, and it's hard, and everybody says no, and nobody's taught me how to be successful. And nobody likes waking up and going into work and feeling like a failure. And sales is wrought with rejection. If we're not teaching them how to be successful and then managing them in a way that's helping them get the small wins, they hate it. And they're voting with their employment. They may check out 1 or 2 other companies and job hop a bit, and then they're like, oh, guess what? It sucks everywhere. I'm out, man. I don't want to be in sales anymore.
Wow. So, okay. So let's pretend I'm a sales leader, because I am.
I'm like, we don't have to pretend too hard.
Yeah. Let's say that, right? And I'm listening and I'm like, boy, okay. So I got all that. How do I overcome that, Lauren? How do I overcome that and actually make people stay and love sales again?
Yeah. So the number one thing that millennials especially are looking for on the job, Forbes just published this, development. They want access to you, Phil, and they want training and development, opportunities to learn and to grow their career. So I think that's one of the first things we can do is build a personal relationship, right? You've got a rep that you've hired on, you don't wait until week 2 to talk to them. You find ways to give them access to you along the way. Second thing you do is give them professional training and development, teach them how to be successful in their job. All too many managers and leaders have to do the heavy lifting of training them and coaching them, which is why they don't have time for either, right? So you get the training and then you meet with them regularly for the coaching. Bridge Group did a study recently that said sales managers report that they do, I think it was between 7 and 8 hours a month of coaching. Not bad, right? Guess what? Less than half of the reps surveyed agreed with that number. So managers think that they're developing their people, but when you talk to somebody about a deal, that's not coaching. And when you talk to them about their performance, it's also not coaching. When you talk to them, right? If you're giving them their numbers or pipeline, any of those regular meetings that we have to do to drive sales don't count. Coaching is one-on-one development of those rep skills.
Yeah.
So that's what we can do.
So, okay. So we do more. And so it sounds to me like we actually need 2 roles, right? We need a manager to coach, maybe, and we need a trainer to train. But you guys do virtual, so how does that work, Lauren? How does the sales bar? How does that fit into that?
Yeah, well, listen, if some people are lucky enough to be in a company where they got a robust training department that's built out training for their reps, and let me tell you, I know way too much about this stuff. I'm going to bore the crap out of you, so stop me if I do. But there's a really good onboarding training. You've got to have your company info. You got to have your product or service info. You got to have process. How do you get shit done in this company, right? You got to have customer and industry. Who are we in the world? How do we fit in? Who are we selling to? And you got to have sales. You got to teach them how to sell your stuff over the phone. And a lot of times folks are missing that, or maybe all of it, right? A 1.5 day orientation is not training them how to do the job. So Factor 8 specializes in inside sales training. So we teach reps how to sell over the phone. It's not value selling, spin selling, challenger selling, selling through curiosity. All of those are beautiful methodologies that sell books, and I love them all. They're great. But they have to be built on a foundation of, how do I get a hold of somebody on the phone? How do I not feel like a loser? How do I get them to call me back? How do I stay on the phone with them? How do I work this device to actually get the opportunity to sell? And that's where we fit in. So Factor 8 customizes training for companies. So we teach them how to sell their product to their customers, but it's a more expensive solution. We put all of our IP online in the sales bar so that it would be very easily accessible to the small teams. If you're an entrepreneur and you are finally at the point where you've got proof of concept and you get to hire a rep or two, now you certainly don't have the time. You don't even have a sales leader, let alone a trainer or a training department. You're running everything, and now a sales rep. So the sales bar is available to you to teach those basic phone skills and kind of help you check the box of that development. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have to coach, right? It's only going to get them so far, but at least gives them that professional development they're looking for and gives them an edge, helps them ramp faster.
Yeah, takes them from a sales amateur to at least a sales moderately professional, I would say. At least.
Or yeah, right? It's e-learning is going to get them some part of the way. Anybody who thinks that people are going to learn everything they need by, going into, LinkedIn Professional or Skillsoft and, or the sales bar, just taking a couple classes and that's it. It's not everything they need, but it can help you do the heavy lifting so that they got the content here and you can take the rest of the way on coaching.
Yeah, well, it does. I have to say what I like about it is
because you used it, right?
Yeah.
With some new hires. How'd you use it?
So we used it, like you said, right? So the first couple of days, it lays some foundation down so that then I can train on the top. Then we have common language that then I can get a manager to manage that, right? So it is, it's building block 1 and 2 that then I can build 2 and 3. And then a manager can build 3 and 4. And then eventually we get to the point where they're self-sufficient, right? So within 3 weeks, that's the goal. And SalesBar absolutely helped that for us.
Perfect. Exactly. So one of the things I love most about what we built here was that we understand sales management's the busiest job in the entire world. So we tried to build blocks 1, 2, 3, and 4, not because we can do it all by ourselves, but to help the people who are in charge of those blocks. So here's the e-learning and a quiz and some videos and some interactive stuff. But now here's an activity that you can assign to them as a trainer or a boss to you. So you don't have to come up with all of that. And then, by the way, here's a cheat sheet with a script starter for them so they can write their own. And then you've got it there ready to coach. And then while they're doing it and practicing it, there's a manager toolkit. And that is full of, here's another assignment. And here's a coaching cheat sheet. If I'm going to listen to this skill, all I got to do is print this out and ask these questions to help develop them, or a grading form. Ooh, how are they doing? How are they applying that? It's right there ready for you. If we figured if we can make it fast and easy for sales leaders to develop their people, we had a running chance or start at facilitating more of those coaching conversations.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is we just need to script out everything that they say and put them in SalesBar and we're good? Because I read that article. Yes. It says you love scripts. Wasn't that LinkedIn article?
I hate scripts. I hate scripts.
Yeah, me too. So talk about that, right? Because I totally agree with you. I don't like scripts either. I think that they're pretty much useless. They suck the personality out of our reps. Yes. And really the only reason that a rep can sell, well, 2 reasons. One is confidence, and second is because of their personality, and they're often interconnected.
Well, and you hire them for their personality and then give them a script with somebody else's words. Like, I cannot pull off, Phil, you and I are both kind of irreverent, wacky, like out loud, forward people, right? I couldn't read your script. That wouldn't work for me, and you couldn't do mine. So it's silly to think we can do that. And by the way, the biggest confidence killer in the world. Hey, you're going to be awesome here. Forget everything and just read this. And reps do. And what happens is the calls suck. They sound like robots. Customers aren't engaged. And oh my God, then they go off script. Imagine that. And it kills the confidence even more. We're not teaching them. So instead of a script, pretty please. And in fact, before I tell you how to solve it, let me tell you I understand, right? Busy entrepreneurs especially. I've got my product. I got my proof of concept. I've sold it. I don't have time to train these kids. Here's what worked for me. That's how we get in this mess. Here's 6 tools and here's a script, go. And they will be with you for, somewhere between 6 and 14 months. And then you will start all over. So I get it. That's why we do it. Instead, record some of your calls. Let them listen. Play the pause game. We can come back and I'll teach you how to do that. Give them a script starter. Let them rewrite it in their own words. Instead of what to say, break down the parts of the call or the calls themselves and talk about the goals in each. Okay. So step 1, for instance, the goal of the intro is not to sell. It's not to make sure they know who you are. The goal of the intro is to get somebody talking to you. And that's it. Now that I understand that, here are a couple examples of intros. Here's a little starter. Here's what you might say. Now, Phil, go make that your own and let's role play. Now, I know that took an hour and it was longer than giving them a script, but the results are tremendously improved. We regularly get clients double or triple conversion rates by getting them off the script and teaching them instead. It takes us 2 days. In fact, and sometimes 1 day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. I don't understand why we just shoot at a number instead of shooting at an outcome, right? That's what I really want. I want
our calls sound like that.
Right. Hello, Lauren. This is Phil Gerbishak, and I'm calling to talk to you about some technology you don't really need.
Yeah, and then as soon as you get me to talk to you, because that never freaking happens, they close for the demo. Instantly. Time. And that's something else that's wrong. Like, and I'm talking about that BDR SDR role, that front of the sales cycle who's trying to get the appointment for the back half of the sales cycle. Premature pitch is an epidemic in the sales world. And so we teach these BDRs that their goal is to get an appointment a day or 3 a week or whatever that case may be. So as soon as somebody talks to me, hey, what I'd like to do is set up an appointment to have you talk to blah, 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 blah. You haven't, what? You haven't earned the right for that. So if we can switch the mindset instead and teach reps that their job, the goal of the call is not the meeting. The goal of the call is to engage the prospect, to get that person leaning in a conversation. If you do that, the outcome is a meeting. And if we can change the mindset, it changes the conversation. I'm not selling at you so hard. I'm not peppering you with a billion questions. I'm not premature pitching the meeting. What I'm doing is engaging you in a conversation. I'm finding out the qualified information that I need. I'm getting you a little bit interested by talking to me about what's happening in your company and your industry and your product or solution set. And then I have an opportunity to find an area where we can possibly improve or find a little bit of interest. And if that happens, then it's a natural outcome to pitch the next step.
Yeah. Well,
changes the whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because then it makes sense to have a next step. Yeah. As opposed to the next step really being nothing but a brush off. Yep, Lauren, I'll be happy to take your call. And then I can ghost you for 3 months.
Oh,
and we're done.
They're never going to show up for the meeting.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's what's wrong with what we're doing. So we hire a kid, we give them 6.4 tools and a script. We tell them their goal is to book a meeting a day. Go. Is it any wonder that 3% of people trust salespeople? That's the latest stat. By the way, it dropped from 13% last time I looked it up. 3%. We have beat politicians by 1.5 points, folks, and that's it.
That's brutal. So I just read that we actually have better relationships at work with automated intelligence and VR than we do with our managers.
Oh my God, that's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, right, we don't give them the time, the tools, or the training in order to take it to the next level. Instead, we suck the personality out of them and expect them to check the box and be just like everyone else.
Yeah, no wonder people think that sales can be taken over by AI because we're trying to turn our people into robots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the great news is there's room to be different.
Right? Absolutely.
Like I love Seth Godin. He's a marketing guru. And one of my favorite things he talks about is let your freak flag fly, baby. And the reps who are allowed to or bold enough to do it anyway, you're going to get callbacks. You're going to get engagement. You will shoot to the top because everybody else sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to stand out when you're with a bunch of turkeys. That's for sure. So especially turkeys that all sound the same, look the same, act the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened. So if you're dedicated and if you're superior and if you're willing to try a few things and you're willing to be bold enough and vulnerable enough to let people see who you really are, you're going to do very, very well in sales. And especially your entrepreneurial audience, right? They're already risk takers. They're already bold. It's scary to get out and hawk your own product. I can sell anybody else's service better than my own. That's just the truth. It's hard to do, but you are superior. You already are that risk taker and that exceptional and that light. So get out there and let it shine through and people will be drawn to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about Girls Club, Lauren, because I think that's important, right? So First, something that I get for pushback is, Phil, because I talk about what's your weird, right? Kind of letting your freak flag fly, right? Be who you are. That's my next book coming out by the end of the year.
What's your weird?
Yeah, what's your weird?
I love it.
Yeah, I'm writing with Shauna Sukkau. It's going to be fantastic. We're almost done, and we're really, really jacked. Well, here's the challenge with that I get pushback on. Well, that's great for you, Phil, because you're a white male. What do you think about that, Lauren? You think that, because I got to tell you, you're not like
I'm not a white
anybody
male.
else. I just noticed. Wow. Holy cow. I just noticed that on video.
Can't believe I just did that, by the way. Hi, Facebook Live.
Right.
I think that's crap. I think that that's somebody waiting for permission. And isn't that a bummer? Yeah. There's a lot of studies that actually show women are top reps. There aren't many women in sales, but if you look at the percentage of people at the top, there are more women at the top of their careers in their fields, because we are different and we shine out differently. And I think we just lack the confidence sometimes to be ourselves and to take risks and to raise our hands. And that's what Girls Club's about, Phil. It really is. Our mission is to help more women get into sales leadership. And we do that by helping build the skills, the confidence, and the community to help women take more risks, feel more prepared to raise their hands and to lead. What's happening is women are waiting to be asked. Okay. They're watching their peers get promoted around them, and they're getting pissed. I cannot tell you how many stories of this I've heard in the last year. I can do this job. Why are they having me interview somebody to be my boss when I can do this job? And then we get pissed and then we leave. And the boss says, I had no idea that you were interested. We're afraid to ask for the development. We're afraid to ask for the attention, for the time, for the budget. It's the number one blocker. In fact, there was a Forbes article published from an HP study called The Confidence Gap. And this is what really spurred me into action. The study says if there's a promotion out there and it lists the ideal candidate will have these 10 qualities, a man will apply if he meets just 6 out of those 10. Guess how many it takes for a woman to apply?
9?
10.
All of them?
All of them. We don't raise our hand until we meet all of them. So Phil, your example is exactly the same. It's the confidence gap coming to play. Oh, well, you can do that, but I don't hit all of these criteria of what I see out there in the world. And unfortunately, there aren't enough women leaders in sales that we have those role models. Nobody's given them permission to be a Phil. Nobody's given them permission to be weird, because I've never seen it out there. And I'm not allowed to take a risk until I meet all of the criteria, right? Which means a top performer to some people, which means on a main stage to other people, which means being a white male, whether that's conscious or subconscious. Yeah. And that's crap.
Good. I completely agree. I think we need to raise our hands, right, and say that I'm ready. I'm ready to try, at least. Maybe not ready to completely lead, right? I need the skills. I need the confidence. I need some coaching. Absolutely. But everybody needs that. Everybody
does, but we don't know that. So we sit, and I'm speaking on behalf of all women, and I welcome your hate mail if this isn't you. I get it. Okay. I'm a ballsy chick, but I will admit that I have struggled with confidence my entire life as well. And folks, I speak on stage in front of thousands of people. But I still struggle with self-confidence. And so we sit here in a cloud of self-doubt, and we think we're not ready. And we feel like asking for the development and showing interest in the next level is akin to saying we're ready for that next level. And that's mistake number one. Okay. If Phil is my boss and I come to him and say, hey, I'm interested in developing my career here at Vector. How do I do that? How do I start to earn the next level? That is a ask for development. That is a great thing to do that shows you're eager and you want to do that. I was speaking at Outreach a couple months ago, and a woman asked a question of the panel and said, how soon can I ask that question, basically, right? I've been a top performer for 1.5 years. When is the right time for me to raise my hand and say, I'm interested in learning about the next level? So be clear, she had never asked, right? here was the interesting thing. Just before the panel started, I was talking to a sales director there. Hi, Steve. And his brand new rep who had started that week. While I was standing there, the new rep asked the boss, how do you move up in this company? Boss answered. And I said, whoa, was that weird? Steve, you got to be honest with me. Did you think less of him for asking that? Did you think he's trying to skip steps? Do you think he's too big for his britches? Did you take that in, like, tell me the honest truth. How'd you take that? And he says, what I've got is a go-getter. And I think that's fantastic. He'd been on the job for 3 days. The top performing woman in the role that kid just started in, waited 1.5 years, then asked expert panel when in the next few years she should raise her hand. That's the difference.
So get the hell out of your own way and ask the questions that need to be asked.
Asking how it works is not saying, I think I'm ready. Okay. But that's why we develop Girls Club. If you're interested in leading a sales team in the next 2 years, Girls Club was built for you. Okay. We're here to take you from 0 to 10% up to 80 or 90%. And we do it in a 6-month virtual program. Sales management skills, confidence building skills, a community, including a personal mentor who is already a woman sales leader at another company, and a male mentor if you'd like, right? And a network of women who you can use as role models and sounding boards in your crew, because you may not have any other women in your current workplace. And that crew has just made all the difference. And then, of course, we shine a spotlight, help you get that notice in your own company and out in the community. And it's been fantastic. Over 70% of our women who are eligible to be promoted got promoted within 9 months.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and a few from Victor.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. So Lauren, lots of stuff we could be talking about here. If we got some last words as we kind of wrap this up, whether it's for men or women, whether it's for new or old, what is one thing that you want to impart upon folks as they think about sales, especially if they're maybe a little afraid of it?
Sales is a game, and it's not personal. And I think it takes good 200-300 calls to really start to understand that. When, by the way, the number, it takes 6 calls to get a hold of 80 to 90% of your contacts. That is how the game is played now. When you call once, your prospect thinks you just don't want it badly enough. It will take 6 calls for that person to call you back. That is an industry standard. Okay? Doesn't mean they don't like you. So it's a game. See if you can get them to call you back in 5. See if you can get them to connect with you in 3. Fly your freak flag, right? Be weird. See if you can get it done in 2. So understand that it's just, you're playing chess. You're moving pieces around the board. You're trying new things, and find little ways every day to win. Even if it's just keeping one person on the phone with you longer or getting one person to call back. Understand that sales is typically kind of silent and rejection. We know it's there. It ain't about you. Find a way to win every day and play the game. And you'll build your confidence and have some fun doing it.
Awesome. Awesome advice, my friend. So folks want to find you, they go to factor8.com. And Lauren, if they have more questions or they want to ask about Girls Club or about online training or sales or anything like that, where would you send them to go? Where can they best talk to you?
Here's my personal email address, LB for Lauren Bailey at factor8.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can go find Girls Club. I have to give this advice, Phil. Don't type in girlsclub.com at your work browser. That will get you in trouble. Go to wearegirlsclub.com and you can learn more information about that, or thesalesbar.com, any of those, or just reach out to me personally on LinkedIn or on email. I would love to help you fall in love with sales and gain the confidence to raise your hand to get to the next level.
Awesome. Fall in love with sales, folks. Get engaged. Get some confidence. Get some skills and make it happen. You can be a better seller. You can love sales if you get the right training that you need. Lauren Bailey, you are a treat, my friend. Thank you. wearegirlsclub.com, factor8.com, and check out LB at factor8.com. Lauren, thanks so much for spending time with me. You're the best.
Thank you, Phil. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I've ever looked down my own shirt before on I don't know